Hey everyone, my name is Andrew. I am pretty new to AR-15s and that whole world. I'm also pretty new to casting lead projectiles, but I've learned a lot about both. So I just finished building this beauty back here. It's just a really standard M4 clone, kind of a rifle, 16-inch carbine length, everything. And I want to shoot it really cheap. I've been shooting 9mm for like 4 cents a round. I've been shooting my Mosin Nagant for something like 20 cents a round, something like that. And the cheapest I can get jacketed 223 ammo, even if I'm buying like really cheap surplus 5.56, or if I'm reloading my own 223 with jacketed bullets, is about 21 cents a round. That's about the cheapest I can go. And with how much I want to shoot this thing, that's going to add up really fast. So I want to find a good cast load that I can shoot through this for practicing and plinking that's a lot cheaper than that. So if you don't know already, 223 is a really tricky caliber to reload cast for, particularly in like a gas gun like an AR. It's not probably as bad in a bolt action rifle, but the reason for that is if you cast, a cast bullet can't go as fast as a jacketed bullet before it loses its stability and loses its accuracy. So you have to shoot a load that is soft enough to give you good accuracy, but hard enough to cycle your action reliably, and it's kind of a tough balance. So if we're going to build a Venn diagram, over here on the one side, right, you've got loads that are soft enough to get you into the right speed for a cast projectile, which is something in the neighborhood of 2000 FPS. Over on the other side, you've got loads that are hot enough to cycle the action reliably and actually lock your bolt back in chamber the next round. And I think that the place where they intersect is going to be pretty small. And then throw in on top of that, I've got two other ones, two other requirements I want, which is I don't want to lead the barrel, obviously, and I want it to be cheap to produce. So between all four of those things, that little middle section where all four of those things overlap is kind of the holy grail I'm looking for. So I've looked all over the internet. I've spent a ton of time in researching and reading, and I've found a million different opinions on how to do this and what the right load is and if it's even possible and if people should do it. And pretty much all of that is backed up by like anecdotal evidence. There's very little like documentation on any of this stuff. So I figured I'm gonna have to do my own testing anyways. I may as well document my own findings so that hopefully I can pay it forwards a little bit. This community of people who are casting bullets over at castbullets.gunloads.com. Also, there's a subreddit. The community's been extremely helpful. I mean, more than I could have hoped for. I've got people sending me samples of different bullets before I buy a mold. I've got people just giving me really good advice. It's been a great community, so hopefully I can give back a little bit. So, I do care about getting good accuracy with this load. For me, it's just pretty much a plinking load. It's going to be punching paper, so I want it to be accurate. I don't need it to be, sub-minute of accuracy or anything like that, but I want it to be as accurate as I can get it, at least out to 100 or 200 yards. I think with cast, I'm not going to try pushing it out past 200 yards. I also don't have any intention of using this for, hunting or home defense or anything along those lines, so I kind of don't really care about terminal ballistics. That's something I'm not going to factor in very much. I pretty much just want it to be cheap and accurate. And reliable. So, without further ado, here are the relevant specs on my AR. So if your AR is similar to this, hopefully this video will provide a really good starting point for you finding your own cast load if you're interested in shooting that. It really is about as close to like a M4 mil-spec as I could get it. I think they're called poverty ponies because it's the Anderson lower. It's just a 16-inch barrel with a carbine length gas system. I added the bipod, but yeah, just a regular carry handle, regular standard buffer tube, standard weight buffer, nothing super light or extra heavy or anything like that. I also have, I looked it up. It's a standard tempered 8620 steel bolt carrier group and bolt. And the barrel twist is 1 to 9 because you want to go a little slower for shooting cast on the twist generally. Spinning it too fast is one of the best ways to lose your accuracy. So, and then this one is chambered in 223 wild, so I can put 5.56 through it. But anyway, I think that's all the relevant specs I could think of for if your rifle is similar to this. I think it's pretty similar to a lot of people's first AR-15s, most likely. Even if yours isn't exactly the same rifle or has, a longer barrel or something like that, it's possible that this, whatever load I finally arrive on will work as a good starting point for you. But either way, just want to make sure I'm documenting well, and if this is useful to anyone, all the better. So, to get started, powder selection and charge weight are kind of probably the biggest two factors on getting really good reliability and accuracy. So that's kind of the first thing I'm going to be playing with. With a normal jacketed bullet in an AR-15, you're going to be using really slow burning powders, like I don't know how to pronounce this actually, Varget. I'm going to say it's Varget. It might be Varget. Anyway, that's like kind of the one that everyone goes to for shooting really accurate jacketed loads through a 223. Slow burning powders go a little bit too, they generate velocities that are a little higher than I want for a cast projectile. So I'm going to start with a slightly faster rifle powder. Mostly just because I already have it. This is the one I use in my Mosin. So I'm going to start with IMR-4227. I already have it. It might not be the ideal powder, but it's a good starting place as any. I've got a couple other ones I might try if I can't get this one to work well. But IMR-4227, it meters really well. It's hopefully I can do a light load. It doesn't seem to generate a lot of chamber pressure, so we'll see if that's an issue. But the reloading manual I have for the bullet I'm using shows that between 11 and 14 grains of 4227 is where you want to be for for this bullet in 223. So with a little luck, I'll get good action cycling. And I've done some reading. I've seen some other people having some success with this powder in a similar AR-15 to mine. So my first test run is basically just going to be trying this out with some of the other things that I already have that are good starting points and kind of throw it all at the wall, see what sticks. So I'm using Lee 55 grain 225 bullets. The mold is right here. The handles are in the garage, but this is the mold that just came the other day in the mail. It's a flat point, which I was a little worried about feeding, but I guess most people don't have any issues with that. So there's my mold. It's a 6-cavity Lee. And I'll be casting those out of wheel weights, probably water quenching. I don't know, I might air cool, maybe some of both. But I want them to be pretty hard. So my wheel weight, I get wheel weights for free. That's where I source my lead. So I'll probably just water quench those and then powder coat, let them sit for like at least a week so they can kind of stabilize on the hardness, and then I'm going to be sizing it back down to 225. So all sorts of arguments to be made for trying different alloys and stuff like that, and maybe I'll need to, but like I said, I'm just kind of starting with what I have. So my first run will be these bullets with water quenched, powder coated, gas checked 225s with a range of different loads of IMR-4227. I think I'm going to start from 12.0 grains and work my way up to like 13.2 grains, and we'll see what that gets me. So my next the powder coat I'm using, by the way, is Smokes Clear. I've graduated from Harbor Freight Red finally. Haven't been having very good luck with the Harbor Freight lately, so hopefully the Smokes is a little bit better. I'm also using, just for the purposes of so you know, I'm using the Lee 3-piece paste setter die set for my reloading. So I think that's a full-length sizer plus decapper die, a seater, like just a bullet seating die, and then a factory crimp or like a roll crimp die. And then to flare my mouth of my cases, instead of I'm just using a Lee universal mouth expanding die. I bought it from my Mosin Nagant. It worked great for that, and it works on just about any caliber. So that's what I'm going to be using to reload. And yeah, I think that's it. So my first test will be 50 total rounds. There's going to be 10 each of 5 different charge weights. Again, I think I said ranging from 12.0 to 13.2 grains. I'm expecting that to be kind of a low point of impact. I zeroed the rifle using regular, like American Eagle factory jacketed ammo, so I think these are probably going to shoot lower than that, just a guess, just because they're going to be going a lot slower. But I'm hoping this gives me a fairly decent accuracy. I have a little bit of guessy math that I can do to find out what my pressure and velocity are going to be, in the neighborhood of with these different loads. and all of these are putting me pretty close to the 2000 FPS range, so I think the accuracy should be pretty okay. And then hopefully, this is the wild card, hopefully I'm getting reliable action cycling out of these loads. So thanks for watching. My next video will start at the range, and then we'll finish off with looking at these targets and tearing apart what happened with these loads and seeing where we're going to go next. So that's what I got so far, and hopefully we'll start off not too far away from finding our holy grail load.